The moment cold seawater filled my lungs, I finally understood what it meant to breathe. My name is Min Jun, 46 years old. I have lived off the sea for 22 years. I was born and raised in a coastal city in the Northeast. From childhood, I was more comfortable underwater than on land. When I held my breath, the world went quiet. No sounds, no fear, no watchful eyes. The water had none of that. My daughter Sua was 22. She took after me. She loved the sea, and she read people quickly. I still remember the way she surfaced after her first dive, laughing with water streaming down her face. My wife, young son, stayed behind. That was the decision we made together. This is the story of 45 days ago. 2 agents from the Security Bureau appeared in front of my workshop on a gray morning. They didn't threaten me with words. They simply handed me a folded piece of paper, a summons notice. I stood there holding it for a long time. The letters wouldn't come into focus. My hands trembled slightly. That night, I sat across from young son. "What are we going to do about Sua?" she asked first. I had no answer. "Take Sua with you. I'll stay here." I didn't fully understand how much was held inside those words. Or maybe I didn't want to. The summons hadn't come only for me. Sua had received one too. Different reasons. Same conclusion. They wanted both of us. That was when I began meeting the broker, Tae Ho. Tae Ho worked out of a small warehouse near the port. He was close to 50, always wearing a worn jacket. Anyone who had lived near the docks long enough knew what he did. I knew. That's why I went to him. "Do you have money?" That was the first thing he said. I nodded. "How long?" he asked. 10 days. He thought for a moment, then nodded. I learned later that Tae Ho had debts. Large ones. Those debts pushed him somewhere I couldn't have predicted. For 10 days, I said nothing to Sua. We just went to the sea every morning. She came with me. We dove in silence. We had never been a family of many words. One evening, she spoke first. "Dad, are we leaving?" I turned away, pretending to look for something. "No, nothing like that. Don't lie." I saw Mom's face. I had nothing to say. Sua asked nothing more. That silence was heavier than any question. 3 days before departure, Tae Ho sent word. 11 o'clock at night, the rocky stretch at the far end of the northeast shore. A small vessel would be waiting. That night, I sat with young son for a long time. We didn't say much. She held my hand tightly. I held hers back. "Take care of Sua." That was all. The night of departure. 1 small bag each, a strip of waterproof cloth, a thin pair of diving gloves, water. I had learned long ago that too much weight becomes an anchor in the sea. When we left the house, young son came to the doorway. She held Sua for a long time. I stood beside them and looked somewhere else. I didn't know a departure could feel this heavy. We reached the rocky shoreline just before 11. The wind was strong. The waves were loud. In the darkness, the line between sea and sky had disappeared. We waited. 10 minutes, 20, 30. Sua tugged at my sleeve. "Dad, just a little longer." At 40 minutes, I felt it. Something was wrong. My body knew before my mind did. A chill ran down my spine. Then, from a distance, light appeared. A searchlight. Not from the sea, from the land, moving toward us. Tae Ho had reported us. I heard later that he hadn't received a reward. His debts were simply cleared. I don't hate him. I don't fully understand him either. Sua. Into the water. She didn't hesitate. I was grateful for that. We ran between the rocks in the dark. One wrong step and it was over. I grabbed her hand. It was trembling, faintly, but I felt it through my palm. I held tighter. When we hit the water, the cold was immediate. My chest seized, but we couldn't stop. The searchlight was closing in, sweeping across the surface. Dive. We went under together. Complete darkness. Total silence. Pressure against my ears. My eyes were open and I could see nothing. Just cold, dark, and quiet. I did not let go of her hand. Holding breath was something my body knew. 22 years of training. But SUA was different. I prayed she would hold on. The searchlight passed directly above us. I squeezed her hand. Don't move. The light drifted past. Then it was gone. In that moment I felt it. SUA was reaching her limit. Her body went tense. Any diver knows that signal. I moved in front of her face. In the dark, I found her by instinct. Slowly, I exhaled. Toward her mouth. She received it, and we held on a little longer. When we broke the surface, SUA coughed softly. I patted her back once. No words. None were needed. We moved through the water slowly. Instinct guided the direction. The sea remembers those who live inside it. When my arms were nearly empty of strength, I saw something ahead. A vessel. I pushed SUA up first. A rope dropped from the side. Someone stood at the dark rail. He took her hand. When I pulled myself onto the deck, my legs gave out. I simply sat down on the cold floor. A thick cloth fell over my shoulders. A blanket. It was warm. That warmth felt unfamiliar. Someone handed me a cup of water. I held it with both hands and drank slowly. SUA sat beside me and pulled the blanket around us both. Neither of us spoke. The sailor's name was Ryu. A middle-aged man who didn't say much. He guided us below deck, found us a warm corner, and asked nothing. He knew this was dangerous. He did it anyway. I didn't ask why. Some people are just like that. We arrived at a southern port city 3 days later. When I stepped onto solid ground, I don't know how to describe what I felt. It wasn't freedom, exactly. My feet just felt heavy. The first thing SUA said was, "What do you think Mom is doing right now?" I had no answer. "She's okay, right?" "Yeah." That was all. I couldn't add anything more. SUA didn't ask again. We found a small room. An aid organization helped us with documents. SUA enrolled in language classes. I looked for work near the water. The sea is all I know. The first month, we just survived. By the second month, something like a life began to take shape. Through all of it, I thought of young son every day. It got worse when I lay down to sleep. What was she eating? Was she sleeping? Were the nights lonely? SUA cried sometimes. If I pretended not to notice, she cried longer. If I acknowledged it, she stopped. So I stopped pretending. One night she was lying under the blanket and she said, "Dad, are we bad people?" I stared at the ceiling. "I don't know. We're not bad people. I don't know." After a long pause, she said, "But we're alive." I didn't answer. I couldn't, but I knew she was right. We're alive. That's everything I have right now. I miss young son. Today SUA came home from language class. She said she was tired, then did her homework anyway. Watching her, I thought if young son stayed so that we could live, then we have to live properly. There is a sea here too. The water is quiet here too. I can still hold my breath for a long time. That much I haven't lost. And that moment in the cold dark water, holding Sua's hand, refusing to let go. That was the most terrifying moment of my life. And also the most alive I have ever felt. I know that now. This story is a creative adaptation based on real events. It does not refer to any specific individual, institution, or country. Please do not attempt to imitate any dangerous actions. Some expressions have been adjusted to protect viewers. If this story stayed with you, please subscribe and leave a comment. The next story is coming soon.